Hey lovers! In today's episode, we are talking about which bride are you? I'm your wedding content creator, and I'm so excited because this is part 2 to our very first episode about which bride are you? In our first episode, I hope you got a chance to see it. It was so spicy. We talked about the bride that's been preparing for her wedding her entire life. She had like this huge notebook and everything. It was wild. And we compared her to the bride who didn't do that. She did not plan her entire life. She was open to ideas. She would incorporate those ideas, and pretty much everything was like, yes, let's just do it. In this episode, though, we're talking about the bride who is extremely excited that she was proposed to, and once she got engaged, she was like, I am ready to plan this. She is ready to plan. So the 3 things that we're going to look at is her planning approach when it comes to wedding planning. We're going to look at her emotional state, okay? So how she is emotionally. And then we're also going to be looking at her overall vibes on the actual day of the wedding. Now we're still comparing her to bride number 1 and bride number 2 from part 1 of this series of which bride are you? And the reason why I asked that question because I want you to be thinking about which bride are you? Do you fall into one of these 3 categories of brides? I'm pretty sure you do. I know I do. And eventually I'll tell you guys which one that I ended up being in comparison to the one that I thought that I was, I guess you could say. I don't know. But yeah, I would like for you to do the same. Kind of be thinking about which bride you think that you'll be, and then which bride you end up being. So it's kind of like a 2-parter, depending on if you've already had your wedding, or depending on if you have a wedding that's coming up. So let's get started. First step, let's look at this bride's approach to wedding planning. Now remember, she gets engaged. She gets that proposal, and she is so excited about planning. She's excited about the wedding. She is on top of the world, okay? So she's getting inspiration from everywhere. She's doing tons of research, and those wedding expos, those inspos can just be I said wedding expos, but you guys know what I mean. Wedding inspos. They can be so exciting to look at because you get to see the ball gowns, the dresses, the sausage dresses that people decide to wear. We'll talk about that in another episode because I know you guys don't call it a sausage dress, but I call it a sausage dress. And I don't know if it's the best for weddings, but it's what people have been going for. So she's getting a lot of wedding inspo online, in magazines, in the bridal stores. Everywhere she looks, she's thinking about her wedding, and she's just excited to take it all in. During her research, she also gets to see some people do certain things in their wedding that other people decide not to do those things in their wedding. Things like throwing rice or throwing flower petals, or maybe they have doves flying in the air, and she's looking at the reasoning. So while she's researching, she's looking at the reasoning, and she's just so excited, you guys. She's so stoked to be a bride-to-be. Now, the other thing that she incorporates is actually planning alongside her fiance. So she's making this more of a shared experience rather than it's my wedding. We hear a lot of people say that it's her day, it's the bride's day, and just whatever the bride wants. But I don't take that same approach to weddings. But of course, this is not about me. We're just talking about the excited bride to be once she is proposed to and how she is approaching wedding planning itself. Although the excited bride is more than happy to listen to suggestions from friends, family members, even her bridal party. And even grandma's wedding when she had hers back in the day. So she'll listen to the ideas, suggestions, and all the things that motivate you when you're planning a wedding. But she's more excited about turning those ideas into her own personal lives, experiences, rather than just doing exactly what somebody else did prior to her. So as you can see, her wedding planning approach is about creating something so beautiful, memorable, loving, but yet she hasn't had these like lifelong expectations like bride number one did in our previous episode. She's got her own approach and it's her own excitement. And like I told you guys before, there's nothing wrong with either of these three brides. They all have their different approach and how they want to plan their wedding. And you will too. This next aspect approach to planning the wedding has to do with her emotions, her personality, her attitude during the whole thing. So yes, she's excited. Yes, she's inspired. But as you can see, as a whole, she's pretty positive, she's upbeat, and she sees this like a process, a journey, a project. It's a fun project, right? But she doesn't look at this like, oh my gosh, this is this lifelong dream come true. Like, it has to be super, super duper perfect. Like we saw with bride number one. I hate to keep harping on bride number one, but we're just doing compare and contrast. And obviously, that's what we're going to be comparing and contrasting to the most out of those three brides. The excited bride is also flexible. She's enjoying the process and the things that she finds and incorporating them into her vision and, you know, the things that she thinks will go great with her aesthetic. Her attitude is to create a joyful and meaningful day that reflects her and her fiancé's relationship. This is what they want to show to the world. They're not looking for this external approach to the wedding that doesn't feel as meaningful. And so they want people to see their heart. I know that the flowers are important to so many people, but to this bride, she's not worried about every single rose being exactly right and every flower being in every nuance of every single wall and every single corner of wherever they're getting married at. She wants people to feel their love in the room and how much they cherish one another. And now we get to the day of the wedding. The excited bride is, of course, excited! Yay! She is so stoked and, like I said, over the moon. She just can't even handle it. She's like, somebody pinch me, is this real? She's so happy that the day has finally arrived. And she's just excited to share it with her family and friends. She's not obsessing, like we mentioned before, with the emotions and planning, even on the day of. She's not obsessing over all the little details that definitely are going to go wrong. You guys, it's hard and it's very difficult for someone to have the most perfect wedding ever. I told you in last time's episode, there is no perfect wedding. Something always goes wrong.
Promises we made in life, hoping we would win the fight.
Because this bride has a total understanding of what weddings should be about, the emotions, the love, the care that two people have for one another, she's definitely not focused if something does go wrong. She's not going to focus on that. So when something does go wrong, not if, but when things go awry and she does notice them, she is not going to focus on them. She's not going to make it a point to lose it and try to fix it because something went completely wrong. She is flexible and she's going with the flow. She's done the best that she can with planning. She knows that others that have helped her have also done their best. And she appreciates the hard work that went into this gorgeous day, no matter how it turns out.
Echoes of yesterday calling back to me.
She's also definitely allowing herself to just feel the day. She's happy to have those emotions, whether it be crying, whether it be laughter, whether it be lots of smiling, cheering, all the good things. She's not focused on the negative stuff, you guys. I think that's like very, very clear with the excited bride that it's, you know, we think about when we plan something and we want it to go. We want it to go well. We spend time planning. But I think it's important that we reflect and we appreciate, and that's why, like, I enjoy the process. I enjoy the process of all the DIYs and the crafts that I make, and I can't wait to share them with you guys on this channel. Like, I'm not just a content creator for travel, food, traveling. I love traveling. Oh my gosh, I don't get to travel that much anymore, but yes, traveling, um, weddings, parties, events, baby showers, birthdays, you name it. All the things that I create content for. It's fun, it's exciting, and I love it so much. And sometimes I can't believe that this is what I do. But I also really, really enjoy my DIYs, my crafts a lot. And with it being like changing of seasons, it doesn't matter for me. Like, I can cozy up with a good DIY. Like, people cozy up with like their favorite books. Like, that's me. Like, I love a good craft day. But okay, we're not talking about crafts. We're gonna get back to it. We gotta keep talking about the excited bride. Now we are talking about the overall appearance of the excited bride on this day of the wedding. So we're talking about the wedding's overall appearance. Like, what does it feel like? What does it look like? Well, remember we talked about how the excited bride did a lot of research during her planning and she got a lot of inspo. So she is going to be more than likely mixing in a little bit of timeless tradition along with modern, like, classics. Okay, so like a little bit of modern style thrown into there as well, which is quite fun to mix the two. A lot of times you'll see one or the other with this bride because she had so much fun with the planning. She allowed herself to pick and choose the things that she liked along the way and decided to mesh them together. So she didn't follow just like one rule. She decided to put a couple of rules and mash them together, which is really nice because it also says a lot about the couple as well. Because maybe one is really into the timeless style, and then maybe one is into more of the classic, modern, straight edge style. I guess modern can be straight edge. Because when I think about modern, sometimes I think about, like, obviously you guys can see I'm like more traditional timeless, right? So when I think about modern, I think about, let's see, like, when I say straight edge, I mean like everything is like very like cookie cutter, I guess you could say. And there's nothing wrong with cookie cutter. I think cookie cutter is great, but it has a very like flat look to it at times. And I guess it's everyone's different definition of like a modern wedding because that doesn't have to be the case, but it could be just as simple as maybe she mixed lace in with satin, something like that. Instead of just having all lace everywhere and all pearls everywhere and beading, she maybe decided to add in some like silk or satin somewhere, like with tablecloths and stuff like that, instead of doing like lace linens or something. I'm just throwing things out here. When it came to the fiance, maybe instead of him doing like a tuxedo, he did a black tie suit. That's a little bit more modern than doing like a 3 or 4 piece suit and stuff like that. Maybe he did like suspenders or something, and a little bow tie. So cute. So yeah, she decided to kind of like mix and match the two styles. The excited bride decided to allow her wedding to feel like her, fresh and, full of energy, full of life. She didn't want to just like wash, rinse, repeat what she's seen at other people's weddings, which I think is really, really cool to make your wedding your own because it can get repetitive, but I mean, it's your day. If that's what you want is repetitive, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, it's literally your day. We hear this like 1,000 times. It's your day, do whatever you want. And so that's how it should be. But so this excited bride, when you walk in, you feel this sense of, okay, I can see that that's definitely her personality. And then I can also see how while she was like planning along the way, some things kind of like popped out at her. She was like, "Oh, I have to have it. I have to have it." And so that's really cool that she's able to like incorporate that in there and make it work all together. Now, when the excited bride walks down the aisle and everybody sees her for the first time, she wanted to look and feel like herself. She didn't want to like conform into something that like she may have seen or watched on TV or in a movie or something that was from a long time ago or something that's been becoming like these huge trends now. Like I mentioned, the sausage dresses. And so like she's decided, okay, I want to look and feel like me. Everyone keeps telling me it's my day, so I'm gonna make sure that I look and feel like myself. I'm not gonna conform to an idea, and that's really important to the excited bride. This may not be like what's important to you. You might be bride number one that's like, no, it has to be exactly like this. I have the picture from 20, 30 years ago, whatever it is, when you were like 5 years old, and like it has to look like that. Like, doesn't matter if times have changed, it doesn't matter if you've changed. You're like, this is how it has to be. Well, the excited bride, because she didn't plan her whole life, she doesn't have those type of conformity ideas in her head. This bride has a refreshing sense of excitement, blending creativity and practicality. She didn't spend her whole life envisioning the day, but once she began, she embraced it with enthusiasm. Her wedding reflects her personality discoveries and her shared journey with her fiance, creating a day filled with love, excitement, and authenticity.
Lights, camera, action, baby, strike a pose. Phones and cameras out, just watch it all unfold. We're the stars of the show, ain't no need for filters. Living life through the lens, capturing our thrills. Put away your phones and cameras, let the good times roll. Our content creators got it all under control. From weddings to events, parties, travel and brands, we're living the paparazzi life. It's all in our hands. Lights, camera, action, we're ready to go. We're professionals, don't you already know? From TikTok to Instagram, we're taking the lead. Content creator, we're planting seed. Get ready for the social media explosion.